Hey, it's Aaron, and this is the news release or news roundup, whatever, for November 11th through the 16th, 2024. Uh, I run a news roundup of all the stuff that happened during the week in automotive on Car News Cafe, and then I do this video based on that so that it's accessible in many different formats. So, this week we have news from Honda, Porsche, Dodge, Indian Motorcycles, and a lot more. Pretty busy week, but most of the news items are small. So we start out with our header image there. That is from Honda. Honda unveiled a new V3 engine with an electric compressor. So the compressor allows the compressed air or boosted air, whatever, to be shoved into the engine at any RPM. It's not dependent on the engine cranks like a regular turbo would be. This means, or in this case, it's not, I guess it's replacing a turbo. It could be replacing a air, anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that the engine, because it can control the airflow, can control power output at any speed. This will mean that Honda will be able to replace some of the not very large, but the large displacement motors, engines that are on some of the larger motorcycles with a smaller, more compact unit that outputs similar power. So pretty neat and kind of a cool setup, and then you'll see some fuel savings because of that. Next up is news from Indian Motorcycle. The new Scout 60 platform has debuted. It's an 85 horsepower, 1000 cc, 999 cc, whatever, engine, and a new tubular frame design. This is designed for a lower center of gravity. The Scout is one of Indian's most popular models. It's a great little bike, really well done, and it's worth going to this to look at the video that goes along with this. The video shows off the motorcycle on the street and also explains a little bit of what kind of stuff is included for that starting price of $9,999. It's pretty cheap. Next up, we go to Cadillac. Cadillac has another all-electric model, the Mystique. It's a 3-row SUV. This will be almost equivalent to the Escalade, but it is not based on that platform. So it doesn't look like, and I very much doubt it's a truck-based SUV. This will be more like the Chevy Traverse in size. So if you think of that, that's what this will be. Production is to begin in the middle of next year. This will be a 2026 model, and there'll be a whole lot more information as we get closer to that production date. This will be built in Tennessee. Next up is Porsche. The Taycan lineup gets 3 more models added to it. There are 3 body variants already, and then there will be 3 new models to go with that. That makes 13 total model and variant combinations for this vehicle. Porsche's kind of all in on this one. This is going to be their major model offering, very obviously. So that's kind of neat. Next, we get to Rivian. So the much beleaguered but high hope electric vehicle maker Rivian they've been working with Volkswagen for a while. They used to work with Ford, if you remember that. Now they work with Volkswagen and they're working on a joint software setup for a new electric vehicle architecture setup. So these software, this is hard to explain because it's complicated. But anyway, the new architecture software development will happen in Silicon Valley. It's a joint venture between Rivian and Volkswagen, who will have engineers working on it. Both of them will use the end result. That's kind of the idea. Honda is finally going to update the Passport. The Passport has been around for a little while as a slightly smaller 2-row option against the larger Pilot. It has sold pretty well. Honda's done pretty well with this vehicle, and it is now time to have a new generation, a new model of this. So it's been, I want to say it's been about 6 years, 5 or 6 years. And so it looks like the new look is a little more square bodied, a little more SUV in its look. It was designed at Honda's facility in Ohio, and it will enter production next year. We'll have a lot more info on it as we get closer to that. Dodge. This is probably the last year for it, but Dodge is going all in on the Dodge Durango's high-end offerings, especially the SRT and the Hellcat models. So you're going to be able to get 3 models of the Durango next year: the GT, the RT, and the SRT Hellcat. Those are all that's going to be sold for this vehicle. Now, Dodge, like most Stellantis brands, has really kind of been struggling the last little bit, but out of the Stellantis brands, Dodge and Ram Truck seem to be the healthiest. So we'll see how this goes going forward, because Dodge is moving to an electric architecture and the Hellcat days are very numbered. So it's very likely this will be the last time you see it in a production model. But for those enthusiasts out there that want to crate engine everything, I'm sure this will be available forever as a great option. It'll be right up there with the LS and the Coyote options that have been out there for 100 years. So, all right. Next up, Ford gets hit with a huge fine from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Ford was found in failure to comply with recall requirements. There were a whole bunch of things that happened, and Ford did not recall those vehicles, specifically on rear view cameras. So the rear view camera was not projecting correctly, and in some models it was not working at all, and in others it was showing the wrong angle. And because of that, Ford did not issue a recall fast enough. NHTSA got mad at that, and then the final here is a $165 million fine. The only fine that the NHTSA has ever given that was higher than this was for the Takata bag recall. Even the Volkswagen fine from NHTSA back in the day was not this large. Most of that fine was EPA. So yeah, pretty big deal. Ford took kind of a hit there. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, Hyundai has a new CEO. So the Hyundai Corporation just announced yesterday that they are appointing, what was his name? Jose Munoz as their CEO for Hyundai Motor. And the former CEO and president, Jae-hoon, I know I'm butchering that one, Chang, he's being promoted into the Hyundai Group. So he's moving out of Hyundai Motor into the Hyundai Group, which is higher up, to head up the automotive division. So he will basically be Munoz's boss. Munoz himself, he's been part of Hyundai Motor and their executive team since 2019. So he's not new to it. He's been there long enough to know how things operate, and he's a good choice to take over, I think. Next, news from Bugatti. This is cool. The W16 Mistral sets a new top speed record. It went 453.91 kilometers per hour. Joins a whole bunch of other Bugatti models in world record holding for speed. So very, very cool. Yeah, expect a world record edition of this. The one that they did it with, they called that. Expect to have limited numbers of this being made to sell to people as well. That always happens. And finally, we have Lexus. Lexus is expanding the new RZ that's coming out for 2025. They've added a new base model. The base model will drop the entry-level price for this vehicle to $43,975. This is their new electric vehicle. Excuse me. Size-wise, it's roughly equivalent to the RX, I believe. So smaller but not tiny, little SUV style. So very cool to see that, and that's a realistic entry level. $44,000 is the average, is below the average new car price right now. So that's a great entry level price tag for a luxury vehicle, especially an SUV. So yeah, that's the whole lineup this week. That's all of it right there. Love it. All right, that's it. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.